Alright, imagine this. You're sailing across the Pacific, and suddenly, bam! You spot a tiny island covered in massive stone heads, staring blankly into the distance. That's Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, one of the biggest mysteries in human history. But what happened to the people who built these statues? Why did their civilization collapse? Well, historians and archaeologists are still arguing about it, and today we're diving into the two main theories. Easter Island is a cautionary tale of how human ambition and environmental choices can make or break a civilization. The island is home to nearly 1,000 Moai statues, some towering over 10 meters, 33 feet, and weighing up to 80 tons. These weren't just cool sculptures. These statues represented ancestral spirits and were believed to protect the island's people. But by the time Europeans arrived in 1722, Rapa Nui was a shadow of its former self. The forests were gone, resources were scarce, and the once thriving society had collapsed. The question is, why? Was it self-destruction, or were outside forces to blame? One of the most famous theories comes from Jared Diamond, an American scientist who argues that the Rapa Nui people destroyed themselves by overusing their natural resources. His theory, from his book Collapse, 2005, goes something like this. The island was once covered in dense palm forests. The Rapa Nui people cut down these trees for firewood, farming, and, most importantly, moving the Moai statues using wooden sleds or rollers. As the population grew, they kept chopping trees without thinking long-term. Eventually, no trees were left, meaning no canoes for fishing, no shade for crops, and no way to leave the island. With food shortages and growing tensions, society collapsed into warfare and even cannibalism. Diamond presents Easter Island as a warning. If we overuse resources without thinking of the future, we're doomed. Basically, it's the prehistoric version of climate change denial. Ignore the signs, and everything falls apart. A groundbreaking 2024 study, published in Nature, challenges the traditional story of Easter Island's collapse. They argue that, far from self-destruction, the Rapa Nui people were actually resilient and adaptive. Their research suggests that the Rapa Nui population never collapsed catastrophically. Instead, the population remained stable until European contact. The people adapted to deforestation by developing innovative agricultural techniques, such as rock gardens, which protected crops and conserved moisture. The real disaster began after European contact, when disease, slavery, and colonialism devastated the island's population. The famous idea of a society that collapsed before Europeans arrived is a myth, likely influenced by Western biases about indigenous people. This theory flips the script on the Easter Island story. Instead of a lesson in self-destruction, it becomes a story of survival, a Polynesian society that adapted to challenges and maintained its culture until outside forces disrupted it. So, what really happened? Well, maybe it was a mix of both theories. The islanders did cut down trees, but their society didn't collapse overnight. Instead, they found ways to adapt. But when European explorers, slave traders, and disease arrived, that was the real breaking point. Easter Island isn't just a mystery. It's a reminder of how history is shaped by the stories we choose to tell. Whether it's a warning about environmental destruction or a testament to human resilience, one thing is for sure, those Moai statues still have secrets to reveal. Did the Rapa Nui people seal their own fate, or have we misunderstood their story all along? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.